Numéro 1, Alexandre Kouimi. Numéro 6, Nolan Ngangmeni. Numéro 7, Félix Demi. Numéro 8, Charles-Alexandre Mpome. Numéro 10, Joachim Barthélemy Basson. Numéro 13, David Vanga. Numéro 17, Isaiah Galas. Numéro 20, Bayero Aliou. Numéro 22, James Minlands. Numéro 23, Ronnie Ewanke. Numéro 60, Karl Wabo Depouilly. Numéro 66, Daryl Baya, le capitaine. Coach, Monsieur Kevin Ngwese, assisté de Monsieur Jefté Sabgou. Équipe nationale du Mali, numéro 2, Sambala Madi Sissoko, le capitaine. Numéro 4, Mohamed Keïta. Numéro 8, Ouwa Kamara. Numéro 9, Abdul Karim Diallo. Numéro 10, Sekou Ousmane Bakayoko. Numéro 12, Mohamed Diamel Sanogo. Numéro 14, Nji Ibouraïma Koulibaly. Numéro 32, Mohamedou Silla. Numéro 34, Alassane Doukouré. Numéro 60, Aboubakar Sidiki Konate. Numéro 75, Mamadou Niama Sissoko. Numéro 78, Boubacar Sidi Traoré. Coach, Monsieur Moussa Sissé, assisté de Monsieur Kanouté Sega. Le commissaire au match est Monsieur Amoulaye Kamagaté de la Côte d'Ivoire. L'arbitre en chef, Monsieur Alden Laroussi de l'Algérie, assisté de Monsieur Didé Chema du Rwanda et de Monsieur Ahmed Chiwa de la Tunisie. Mesdames et messieurs, s'il vous plaît, je vais vous demander de vous mettre debout pour les différents hymnes nationaux. Équipe nationale du Cameroun. Équipe nationale du Mali. Messieurs, salutations, s'il vous plaît.
Just heard La Mali, the national anthem of the great basketballing country, followed by O Cameroun, berceau de nos ancêtres. Cameroon, cradle of our forefathers. And with the national anthems complete, welcome back to the Palais de Sport de Treichville in Abidjan. We're in Côte d'Ivoire, where there's still a medal to be won at the 2026 U18 AfroBasket. It's Mali against Cameroon for bronze, and there's some history here. Moussa Cissa, the head coach of Mali, would like to take the bronze back to his home country, and he will be going up against a formidable opponent in Cameroon as we get a good look at Kevin Ngwezi, the head coach of that other great basketballing nation. There's some history here between these two teams. These two met in a championship game 2 years ago in the last iteration of AfroBasket, with Mali winning that one 60-51 to become African champions. In fact, Mali have beaten Cameroon in both of their previous U18 AfroBasket meetings. Today, Cameroon finally get another opportunity to turn the tables. For Mali, keep your eye on Sekou Bakayoko. Point guard is the heartbeat of this team, and even when Mali looked dead and buried against Senegal in the semifinal, Bakayoko helped drag them back. His three-pointer with 23 seconds left made it a one-possession game. Mohamed Keita was Mali's leading scorer that night with 16. For Cameroon, watch a fellow by the name of Joachim Basson. He led them with 11 points and 5 rebounds against Côte d'Ivoire, with Captain Daryl Bayard, who gives Kevin Ngwezi the versatility to play that huge front line alongside Roni Iwanka and Karawabo. So what should we expect? Size and rebounding from Cameroon. Pace and better interior efficiency from Mali. Cameroon actually hold a slight edge on the glass, but Mali have averaged almost 7 points more per game and have been considerably better finishing inside the arc. Fearless prediction: Cameroon make this a physical one and keep it close. Mali may have a little bit more creation when the game gets tight. What say you? Put it in the comments on the YouTube channel. I'm going to say Mali by 5, but what do I know? Bronze medal on the line. Mali and Cameroon were just a couple minutes away from the tip-off.
Chaque fois, nous avons donné, et chaque fois, il faut venir contester les tirs. Sur les blocs de haut, la dernière fois, tout de suite, on a vu ça. Et n'oubliez pas, quand il y a des choses qui sont fortes dedans, les réceptions jump, donc à chaque fois, il faut que vous soyez sur le ballon. Ok, les gars? Allez, on passe sur le
Let's go. C'est le dernier match du tournoi. The last one, let's go. On se réserve pas. Attends pour la patrie. Mali.
Yeah, just a real treat to be able to listen in to the huddles and the team meetings. We'll do that throughout the game. Every time out, I will shut my big mouth and allow you to listen to real basketball going on out there on the floor. So Mali will be wearing the away whites, and Cameroon in green. As Roni Iwanka Wanke gets ready to tip for Cameroon. Just waiting on something to be checked with the scorer's table. Going against Silla. And the tip controlled by Mali. They're moving from left to right across your screen here in the first period. Sissoko defers. Turnaround jumper just outside the key. One of the toughest shots in basketball. Cameroon. Pass intercepted, but they'll regain possession and try a deep three, and they nail it. Good opening salvo. Gangmani with a three-pointer to get things started for Cameroon. Rebound controlled by Cameroon from the top of the key. Shot blocked. And Mali with a chance to open up their account. Ball controlled by Wabu Dupoyi. Cameroon out to an early 5-point lead. Kaita. Mali's attempted three-pointer off target. Cameroon off the timeline. Another block shot for Mali. That's 2 on the afternoon so far. Here comes Sissoko. And alley-oop I don't know if the assist was actually necessary on the back end of the alley-oop. Timeout called quickly by Mali. We'll listen in on the huddle during this timeout.
Mais chaque fois ballon mun be ballon fan fɛ i t'a ballon tigi ka yɛrɛ i b'a lajɔ a y'a faamuya donc an ni dafalen de bɛ segin ni ballon bolila c'est compris il faut k'a ka jɔ kunun ta ɲɔgɔn kana kɛ sa ka taa boli 20 points nɔfɛ a boli ka gɛlɛn il faut que tout de suite an ka commencer ka scorer c'est compris allez défense.
In possession out of the timeout, looking to get themselves up on the score sheet. Another attempt from three-point territory for Cameroon, this time off target. Mali controls the rebound, brings ball over the timeline. Mali with a little bit of a backdoor laying off the glass for Keita. Manages to open up their account. Shot from three-point distance, and Cameroon still thriving off the three-pointer. This one coming courtesy Minland. James Minland with a basket to put the margin up to 8 points for Cameroon. Difficulty getting the basket inside and outside the arc. An all long offensive possession, several tries, and they come up empty. Wanke. The play is negated by a foul against Cameroon. And we'll go the other way. Unfruitful possession. Cameroon driving, he's fouled. Silla. And for Cameroon, James Minland. He is at the line to shoot a pair of free throws, misses the front end. Buries the second one. And we'll get a double substitution for Mali. Back to Konate. He drives into the lane. I don't know what the intention was, other than perhaps draw a foul. Another block shot, and the umpires are allowing quite a bit on that. Here's an opportunity to jam one home for Minland. James Minland takes the Cameroon tally to an emphatic baker's dozen. Blocking foul called. And Joachim Basson will enter the ball game for Cameroon. Sissoko. Another foul. Basson replacing Ngamani. Keita. Drive down the lane and just off target. It goes out of bounds and will become the property of Team Cameroon. 4:11 to go, an 11-point lead for Cameroon. Talked at the outset, this could be an opportunity to make amends for 2024, which saw Mali best Cameroon at the end of EuroBasket. That, of course, was for gold. Today it's for bronze. But shot is off. Mali quickly in transition and a lovely lay-in. Well done by Mohamed Keita. Shot from the wing is good, and Minland is leading the way for Cameroon. Mali still unsuccessful on the three-point attempts, trying to dig into that deficit. There's another block for Mali. That's what's keeping them in here. Basket, very much needed basket by Abubakar Konate. Leo's offering was offline. The second attempt, not much better. And Mali loses the handle. Unforced error. Another timeout, and perhaps in both huddles, the sloppiness will be addressed, because till now it's not been the prettiest of basketball. And the team that can settle in the best is probably going to have the most success on the night.
Hein? Bon, tu reviens, tu prends un demi, tu prends un roulis. Hey, on va déballer sur défense, on se porte sur le ballon, on ferme. Bon, ça va dans le rebond. On ne peut pas aller en contre-attaque, on calme. On calme. On appelle un pied, on passe sur Cameroun avec les camps en dessous là-bas, tranquillement. C'est bon?
Box out, allez, le rebond au sol.
Allez, les gars, box out, les gars. Restez agressifs en défense, allez, les gars. On doit gagner le match.
Well, we've had great access to the huddles throughout the tournament, but right now we are getting the best pictures and the best audio I've seen in the tournament. Hats off to our boom mic operator who's getting right inside there. You may have to switch into your gym gear if we get any closer. Pressure now applied by Mali, broken pretty readily by Cameroon, and they managed to pick up a foul in the process. Two quick fouls. First one against Minland from Cameroon. second one coming from Cameroon for number 12, Sanogo. I say Cameroon, and of course I meant Mali. Mohamed Sanogo picks up a personal foul. Here comes Cameroon. It's one of the most nonchalant blocks you're going to see. Down there in the paint, Bagayoko just said, you're not going to be able to score without this, and kicked the ball away without flinching. Drive into the paint, kick back out for a three-point attempt, and it's good. Cameroon is shooting very, very well from outside the arc. Cameroon 3 for 9, shooting a 33% clip, and I'll tell you what, that is the sweet spot on three-pointers. Mali, on the other hand, are 0 for 5 from three-point distance. Big collision over there on the loose ball. Mali's coaching staff barking out the orders into the court. Bagayoko to inbound. Technical foul is going to be called on the Mali bench. Something I didn't just caught out of the corner of my eye. I don't know if there's a clipboard or something else. Got out of somebody's hand, I believe, and out onto the court. And the coach went to retrieve it, and that's a no-no. That's a costly foul. Cameroon's going to shoot 2.5 possession off of that. They'll send James Minland to the line to attempt the free throws. He'll nail the first one. Lead is back to 10 points. My correction, that's a 1-point that's a 1-point play, and no retained possession because it's not a flagrant foul. That'll teach you to hold on to your clipboard during a basketball game. Let's try that again, says Bagayoko. Substitution, Bagayoko helping out the official, which they appreciate. No. Officials love 18-year-olds telling them how to do their job. Deep inbounder. And a shot just before expiry, and maybe they need the pressure to shoot the tray as Konate buries a three-pointer, the first one of the matchup for Mali. The cutter is Dumi, and Felix Dumi has nowhere to go, and will get a timeout. Sorry, rather the first end of the first quarter. Well, it was all Cameroon to start with. Mali has closed the gap. It's a 7-point deficit for Mali. And we will listen in on their huddle and take a brief break. Be right back.
Pour ce quart-là, on va revenir à notre défense de zone. Défense homme à homme. On met la pression sur tout le terrain. Tout le monde défend ici. C'est compris? On met la pression là. On ne cherche pas à arracher le ballon, mais on les pousse à finir les 24 secondes. On les pousse à hésiter et à prendre des mauvaises passes. C'est compris? Maintenant, en attaque, continuez à jouer gré. Continuez à jouer. Quand on joue gré, on a les intervalles qui ouverts. On peut les attaquer et faire ressortir le ballon, ok? Pas de tirs précipités. On gère doucement jusqu'à ce qu'on revienne au score. C'est compris, les gars? Allez, on met la pression en défense. Allez, maintenant. Faites tout pour aligner maximum 5 passes, 5, 6 passes. Allez.
Sorry for the technical snafu. Little audio dropout. We're back. I was going to run down the leading scores from the first quarter for you, and I'll still do that because, for one thing, it hasn't changed any since last we spoke. James Minend from Cameroon leads Cameroon in all scores on 15. Nobody else really in the neighborhood. He accounts for the lion's share of those 24 points for Cameroon. Mali managed to pick up a bucket. As Konate gets himself another field goal for 2. Keita leads Mali with 6. Konate is on 5. Opportunity for a 3-point possession. As it turns out, Mali will be shooting 2 free throws. Shooting a pair. Kamara. Violation for kicking. Top of the arc, and I heard him call bank. Felix Dumi with another valuable 3 points for Cameroon. Cameroon on transition, going 2 against 1, and that numbers disadvantage caught up to him. Backing out to attempt a 3-pointer. Just can't get it to go. Mali shoots the ball up the court. Turnaround, spinning, losing the ball was Sissoko, but they're going to get a second chancer. Laid in so nicely off the glass by Bagayoko. That was sweetness. Nice soft touch for a guy who's looks like the weight room is his second home. Banging one in from just inside the circle is Wabu Dupuy. And a timeout is called. And we'll go and have a listen in to the huddle.
How to say that Omam now, this is like a son for respect to make a tilta fan defe. Nango kata Omam now, Abu to be penetrate fan defe, I'll take a one be control like a Marca Calajo. I'll say no Ganya Blazon, now on one day. I'll make a tissue, I'm a Jumanic. I'm a Jumanic, the first like Jamaica, I'll forget.
I don't know a question for you. Oh, I'm not the
Mimi vendor marca kana mwashi deme. I'm not Omam. Yeah. Mimi vendor marca kana deme kata
So the Eagles break their huddle, get back out onto the court, trying to chip away a little bit more at that deficit, especially before the halftime break. The Eagles, or in French, les Aigles. Cameroon, on the other hand, known as the Indomitable Lions, which also sounds much better in French. Les Lions Indomptables, or something to that effect. I would hope that my college French teacher would be proud, but I think they would probably cringe. Well, he waited just long enough to get his shot blocked. It was a good thought, but he had no way of knowing that Sanogo was underway to swat his attempt into orbit. Mali will run a double substitution, amongst whom Mohamedou Sila will re-enter for the Eagles. Just over 6 minutes remaining. A no-look pass, mostly just to break the trap. And Johnny on the spot. Or in this case, Abdul Diallo. Diallo with the putbacker. But they're losing touch with Cameroon. There was a streak, a run there where Mali were closing the gap, and now Cameroon has once again extended it. Now 13. Certainly not insurmountable, but it continues to put Mali behind the proverbial 8 ball. Senegal look to break a half-hearted Mali press. Keita out there defending for Mali on the wing. The double team ends up costing a foul. In the meantime, I'm looking at that double substitution. That was Minland and Aliou coming in. I don't know that we've seen Aliou out on the court so far this evening, but he's in now. They replaced Wabo Depouilly as well as Dumi. Aliou, wearing number 20, he is in now for the Lions. Was there at the free throw line, attempting a couple. So not the very best of debuts for Bayero Aliou, as he missed 2 free throws. And now Koulibaly missed the turnaround jumper for Mali. They do manage to pick up the offensive rebound. And as soon as we've sorted things out, we'll get the ball back out onto the court. Mali with the inbound. Keita kicks out. 3-point shot coming up. Good looking stroke. And Sissoko manages to drain a 3. Those certainly help, and has brought the deficit back to 10. Just under 5 minutes to go. We're halfway through the second period. Jumper from the wing is no good. Rebound to Traore. Jumper from the top of the key falls for Koulibaly, and a timeout is called. So Traore with the jumper from the side is answered. It's followed up by Koulibaly. And we get a timeout out on the court. And with those two quick points, Cameroon certainly wants to talk things over.
Et en attaque, s'il faut faire les camps, posez bien les écarts, exploitons les camps, jouons bien derrière les camps. Derrière les camps, il y a quelque chose que tu vas faire. Wabo, tu reviens à la place de Aliou. Joachim, tu reviens à la place de Maya. C'est bon? Il faut les presses là, on sort le ballon à 3. Hein? Celui au milieu. Moni, tu commences ici. Dès qu'on a la première, tu te caches sur le côté. Et l'autre, tu ne restes pas là-bas. Tu avances pour les faire avancer. Wabo, tu restes derrière. C'est bon? En attaque, soyons patients. On va aller sur After Two. Avec Ronnie et l'autre, tu peux commencer la tête.
So, Coach Kevin Ngwezi telling his players what he expects for the remainder of the second quarter. 43-year-old coach and a former Cameroonian senior international. His coaching responsibilities guided the U18s to the final 2024 on debut. His first basketball U19 World Cup berth. So very successful tenure so far for Ngwezi. I'm sure that he would have liked to see his charges in the final game later today. But right now the focus is on securing bronze, which would be also quite the accomplishment. Once again, if you missed the onset and didn't realize it, this is the rematch of the two teams that fought for gold in 2024 at AfroBasket in Pretoria. That time it was Mali coming out on top, and so far Cameroon have shown their determination to revenge that loss. Gangmeni nails the final free throw of his trip to the charity stripe. And exactly 4 minutes remaining as Mali tries to fashion an answer. Traore with the pull-up jumper, can't get it to go. Foul on the floor. Mali to stay in possession. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Substitution as Keita checks out of the game. Along with Sissoko. Keita coming into the game rather as Sissoko departs. Konate, Kulabi and Sissoko out. Cameroon also with a substitution. Baya coming in for Wado Dupuyi. Mali rebound off the miss. To get that back to a single-digit deficit. Blocking foul called. Inbound. Three-pointer. And good reaction, too. Mali has a bunch of supporters here. You may hear the fella upstairs drumming. He is relentless. And will just go at it from opening whistle to the final one. And three-pointer really brought a spark not only to the players on the bench, but also to the supporters up in the bleachers. Under 3 minutes to go. Very promising drive from Joachim Basson, but he was unable to bring it home. However, on the other end of the floor, Bagayoko with a very important field goal for Mali as they try to put on a little bit of a spurt here at the end of the first half. Fading away, more like falling away, was Aliou. And a timeout, rather, sorry, a substitution is affected. Gamani heads to the sideline. He's replaced by Felix Dumi. Tried to ram one home. Unfortunately, the ball had other ideas. He is fouled on the play. Traoré pleading his case. And by pleading, I mean really pleading. I've officiated a lot of sports in my life, and if somebody approaches me in the same manner as Traoré, believe me, that is very disarming, and I'm willing to listen to whatever he has to say because he did it in such a respectful way that you can't help but at least hear him out. Aliou, not his best work from the free throw line. Bucket for Cameroon, and they just keep unrelentlessly pouring them in. Very difficult nut to crack for Mali. The screen, drive, and yeah, that's always a difficult shot. Moving away from the basket and trying to toss it back in with the right hand. Baya. Baya! Good afternoon. The captain has spoken emphatically. Just over a minute remaining in the second period. Daril Baya with one of the most emphatic baskets of the first half. Keita. Almost turned it over in the first instance. They'll get this one back. Substitution to finish out the first half for Mali. With Sanogo checking into the match. Traoré. Rebound, Felix Dumi. Dumi throws up a floater that won't go. Mali. Keita uses the handle. Unforced error and then fouls. The classic error of compounding errors. loses the handle and then reaches in for a foul. Keita will be called over the bench together with Konate. Gangmini in the backcourt. Gets a little nudge there from Traore, and he is called for the personal foul. So Nolan Gambane at the line. Love that focus he has. Shuts those eyes, turns off the mechanism. You probably can't even hear the drummer from Mali upstairs. Great form. Good free throw shooting form. Say that 5 times fast. Bali to inbound for Mali. They've got about 4 seconds left to try to get a shot off. That would have been a great boost going into the locker room. As it turns out, another missed shot for Mali. Cameroon has really shown the willingness and looking to revenge that 2024 result. And as we head to halftime, it is, of course, the end of the second quarter. Cameroon leads the affair 41-29. And we will take our leave also for about 13, 14 minutes and rejoin for the third quarter. We'll see you here back here. You're watching the FIBA U18 AfroBasket 2026 live and exclusive from the Palais de Sport de Treichville in Abidjan. We'll be back after a few minutes. So Cameroon take a 41-29 lead into halftime of this bronze medal game, and they've been in front almost from the opening tip. The tone was set by James Milan. He scored 15 of Cameroon's 20 first quarter points, including 3 3-pointers, as the indomitable Lions built a 20-13 lead. Cameroon then found some help in the second quarter. Karl Wabo Depuyi and Daryl Baya inside. Ronnie Iwanka and Felix Dumi from deep. And Nolan Ngamani from the foul line. Mali fought back. Boubacar. Sidi Traoré hit 2 threes. And the Eagles cut that 15-point deficit to 6 and got it to 35-29. But Cameroon closed the half with 6 straight. Minlin layup, Baya dunk, and 2 Ngangmani free throws. For Mali, Boubacar Konate has 7 points. Mohamed Keita and Traoré have 6 apiece. Concern is Seiko Bagayoko, just 2 points. And Mali have not created enough consistent pressure in the paint. So the third quarter is going to be huge for the defending champions. Mali need Bagayoko involved immediately. Fewer empty possessions and a strong first 5 minutes of the third quarter. For Cameroon, keep the ball moving, keep using the size advantage, and keep Milan in rhythm. 20 minutes remain. Cameroon lead Mali 41-29, and the bronze medal is starting to come into view. Would have been interesting to know what Moussa Cissé had to say in the Mali locker room. I'm sure that Kevin Ngwezi also had words of encouragement. And we shall soon see what the fruits of their labor has been here in the third quarter of play as we get ready to start. Mali will inbound. Keita to handle the honors. Into the backcourt to Konate. Three-point shot, misses everything. Steal. And a good quick basket for Keita. Keita opens up the scoring for the second half. Scoring in the first half, let's start with Mali. Keita led Mali with 8 points. Konate on 7. Traoré on 6. And nobody over 2 beyond that. For Cameroon, leading the Lions and the rest of the floor, James Milan on 17 points. Ngamani has 8. Wadu Depuyi has 6. So Mali unable to fashion an answer to the three-pointer made by Ngamani. And Cameroon 13 points up, trying to make it 15 or 16. Ngamani driving unsuccessfully. Courageous going up against Mali's bigs under there. Just showing absolutely no fear. Sissoko, one-on-one in isolation together with Wado Depuyi. Double dribble called against Mali. Another unforced error will cost them possession. Can't sit well with the coach, Moussa Cissé. 40-year-old coach from Mali. Keita tries to touch one in off the glass. Second chancer, also no good. Loose ball picked up by Mali. Hit a patch of ice there. There's a foul recorded by our game official. But Sissoko really went down, and you always worry about what's happening at that moment. As in, my goodness, did he do an ACL? Everybody's fine. Now we get back to the business of trying to cut into that Cameroon lead, which now stands on a baker's dozen. Jumper. Cross court. Driving and kicking it back out to Wanke. Another bucket after multiple tries for Cameroon. And Len continues to lead all scorers. Tay at least could muster an answer. We need to start forcing Cameroon to turnovers or just outright stealing the ball. Because at a certain point, it's going to become a numbers game. The captain, Daryl Baya. Baya trying to muscle his way down underneath. Refers to the man with the hot hand, Ronnie Iwanka, for that mid-ranger. Konate kicks it out on the perimeter to Silla, and he bags a three-pointer. Step back jumper. Oh, pretty. Now you're showing off, Ronnie Iwanka. Okay, with another important three-pointer. And for those of you keeping score at home, just so you know, Cameroon shooting 30... just doing the math here, almost 37%, 7 to 19. And that's a good clip from three-point. And if you're throwing up some numbers at that rate and converting, you're going to be tough to match up with. And for Mali, 21%, 4 of 19. So 7 against 19 out of 4 of 19 from three-point land. Another explaining factor when we look at the score. And it's now a 16-point deficit.
La défense de charge, on revient en zone, en défense de zone. Ok? Le meneur seul met la pression ici dans leur camp. C'est ce qu'on défend sur le ballon. Les autres, vous tombez là. Là et là. Après, c'est ce qu'on occupe ici. On revient en zone. D'accord? Mais chaque fois côté ballon, contester les tirs. Mettez la pression, on arrête au bloc là, corner là. Nous, à tirer kata. Il faut qu'on fasse taquer les gueules. Il gata ballon truc, il faut qu'on c'est pas bien. Allez. Défense. Allez.
We've seen a number of different coaching styles in this AfroBasket, both on the men's and women's side. And there's always two schools of thought. There's the coaches who are animated and loud and boisterous, and then there's the laid-back side. And for the life of me, and it's been a 60-year life so far, I can't bring myself to choose a style which is better. And I think it's just really down to the coach himself and how he brings it. As Mali gets a hard-fought for field goal to fall. Respect where respect is due. Keita continues to make himself very useful. He jumps into the lead, or jumps up as the leading scorer now for Mali. He was on 10, and with that free throw, is now standing on 11 on the score sheet. But in any case, both, just to finish off the thought on coaching, both coaches tonight belong to that laid-back school. And I suspect, especially with today's youth, that might be the best way to go. I don't know. It really depends. Whoever wins the gold, that's kind of the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Demi is off target. Mali is able to continue their transition. A little hindrance at midcourt. Keita has now found the hot hand. And there's a timeout with 4:14 to go. So the lead is 11. Cameroon leading Mali. Let's jump down and listen into the huddle.
Ouais, tu as pris Lali. On change l'échec pourquoi? On sécurise le ballon. Au rebond avant de partir. Ne partez pas sans sécuriser le ballon. C'est bon?
Allez les gars, c'est pas moi, c'est un petit temps faible. Ça arrive là,
tu peux Nolan.
Allez les gars.
Un peu en attaque, reculer en attaque. On peut aller sur tête avec Baya et Karl en tête les deux au corner. Après, maintenant, on fait la décision derrière les camps. On va mettre l'agressivité en défense. On va mettre l'agressivité en défense. Allez, go.
Allez les gars, c'est un petit temps faible, ça arrive, on remonte.
Viens où jaune? Jamais.
Baya. Go down and occupy the high post. Dumi goes down to the baseline. And out of bounds. Rare unforced error for Cameroon. Bali. Foul is called. So of course, the third place game, and later tonight from here in Preisville at 8 o'clock local time at Abidjan and GMT, 10 o'clock in Central European time. be 4 p.m. on the east coast of North America. And I've said before, if you're in Oceania and you're wanting to watch, it's past your bedtime, but you're going to have to figure out the time difference yourself. I don't have all that worked out, and I certainly can't vision it in my head. Senegal against Cote d'Ivoire. This Palais de Sport will be rocking. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it on both men's and women's. The women lost last night, and for the home supporters here in Cote d'Ivoire, they dropped the decision to Egypt a little bit earlier. The Pharaohs defeating les Elephants by a score of 60-52 for the third place game. So Egypt taking bronze for the ladies in the women's AfroBasket. And I'm going on. I'm okay. So later to the final for the women, that will take place at 7 o'clock Central European time. That makes it 5 p.m. GMT/Abidjan, and that will feature Mali, who did make it to the women's final, going up against Nigeria. So the Lady Eagles will take on the Tigres of Nigeria, and that should be a fantastic matchup as well. So you'll be able to fit all that into your schedule, and hopefully you're going to be around with us till the late night watching AfroBasket here on FIBA's YouTube channel. Now Cameroon still with a healthy lead. It's 13. It's oscillated around 13 for quite a while. Mali unable to put a significant dent in it, but perhaps, I guess, the consolation is Cameroon unable to extend it much beyond that 13-point mark. So, you know, at whatever given time Mali wakes up and flexes their muscles and shows the offense we know they're capable of, it's still theirs for the taking. They just have to take care of business. But Cameroon came here with a mission. They want to avenge that loss in 2024. They would very much like to. They would have very much liked to have taken the gold, of course. But if the only thing on offer this afternoon is bronze, why Cameroon is of mindset that is what they will take, and less than that they will not settle for. Shooting a couple is Koulibaly. Milan, in the meantime, is over 20. As he retrieves the ball before it goes out of bounds. That could have been a called foul as far as I'm concerned. In football, that would have been a yellow card, as Bagayoko was held up. Minutes remaining in the third quarter. Still swarming on defense. Really giving Mali a tough outing. Back his way in and up, and without success in the first instance is Doucouré. Alassane Doucouré, and I don't believe we've seen him earlier in the matchup. We haven't. He's only been on the floor for 17 seconds. And he will have the opportunity to show us what he can do from the free throw line. No, it's Koulibaly, rather. No, it's not. It's is Doucouré, who is at the line. Baya, in the meantime, in for Milan. And Doucouré buries 2 free throws to aid the cause and brings the lead back to single digits. 9-point lead for Cameroon with about a minute and a half left to go at this juncture. Well, the trap pays dividends as Senegal steps out of bounds. Basson replaced by Ngamani. Stepping back for 3. Rebound, Aliou. Baya for 3, the captain. I don't know if he called bank or not, but that one wasn't online. Almost the same shot this time from Wanke. Koulibaly running the offense from the point, tries to float one into Doucouré without success, and the ball disappears out of bounds. It bears mentioning, I can't imagine the stamina it would require to hit that drum, and I'm suspecting we're going to hear it all the way to the end of the fourth quarter. And music to my ears. That was the rest of the Mali faithful who were overly enthusiastic at the moment. Shot from the wing for 3, and man, they really continue to hit from three-point land. Pois for Cameroon. Eight of 24 for exactly 33.33%, and that is the end of the third quarter. More of the same. And in the meantime, Cameroon extends the lead back into double digits. It's 14 at the moment. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the fourth and final quarter. In the meantime, let's listen in on the huddle.
S'ils sont dans la pénalité, on ne quitte pas.
Fourth and final quarter, and 10 minutes of basketball left for either Cameroon to hang on to their lead and take the bronze, or for Mali to get into action and take it away from them. But for now, it's Cameroon's to give away and Mali's to earn. Quarter itself was a bit more competitive, and may surprise you to know, if you didn't already realize, it was an 18-16 third quarter. Cameroon edged it by 2, but Mali was always going to require a sustained run to do anything about that structural deficit. Keita tried to provide the spark for Mali. He scored 7 points in the quarter, including and 1 in transition, and they started to build a little bit of momentum from their defense, but they got the deficit down to 9. They were at 54-45 with just under 2 minutes remaining after free throws from Doucouré. But once again, Cameroon had an answer. Gameni scored off an offensive rebound. Dumi scored with a steal, and then Dumi buried a 3 with 13 seconds left. 5-0 Cameroon finish pushed the margin back out to the 14. It's 10 now, so let's see if Mali can continue a run. Baya, the captain, called to the bench. It's Zegle against the indomitable Lions. And the Eagles may soar, but the Lions can roar. Turnaround jumper, no good. It certainly doesn't help either when Lady Luck is not smiling on you, and Mali have not seen a lot of her this afternoon rather. Funny game though, basketball. You'll go through one of these and just about ready to engrave the trophy. Yep, what comes up must come down, but if you're going to come down and you're holding a basketball, you have to get rid of it. Cameroon to inbound. But you sometimes see a team that's been down by 10 for what seems like the opening tip-off. And then in the last 2 minutes of the game, things fall together. A couple lucky breaks, a couple turnovers, hot shooting streak, and lo and behold, Mali get on the bus with a trophy in the baggage compartment. But as long as James Menland continues to score as he does and has, that's going to be an awful tough ask for Mali. Menland is now on 23 points, leading all scorers. Ganmini is on 13 for the Lions. The Eagles being paced still by Keita on 13. Konate has 11. 3-point shot. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and Sissoko drains a 3 to cut the deficit down to 9. Foul called. Looked like it was going to be a clean steal. And Koulibaly didn't manage to get away for a transition basket before he was fouled. Gamini with the foul. It's called an unsportsmanlike foul. So it's a 2-point trip to the line with nobody around him. I don't really recall seeing what made it so egregious. Perhaps you saw that at home. and possession, which is the important factor. Keita inbounds. Mali trying to force the issue and kind of getting away with it so far. Of course, missing those 2 free throws off the flagrant were not helpful for Koulibaly, but they are still in possession. It's a long time and a lot of effort to get 2 points. There's plenty of time left. As Diallo bags the first of 2 free throws. And number 2 is also good. So with all that time remaining, as long as they can slow down Cameroon and not just trade baskets, we've got all the patience in the world. We'll just wait and watch and see what happens. 6-point deficit. We haven't seen one of those for quite a while. They're really getting a lot more aggressive on ball, our Mali, trying to pick up enough, force a turnover, get a steal. Which gives me reason to have a quick look at the foul situation for both teams. Only Silla, Hamadou Silla, is on 3 personal fouls for Mali. Cameroon actually has 2 players that need to be careful. Both Minland and Wado Depuyi are on 3. And Minland is good for 23 of the 61 points. Basson on a 3-point trip to the foul line manages to shoot 66.66%, making 2 of 3. The coast-to-coaster is no good, but luckily sometimes you need a little help from your friends, and Doucouré is there to slam it home. It's a lovely drive by Sissoko. Would have definitely granted him the lay-in after all that effort. But Alassane Doucouré said, it's okay, Sambala, I will take over. Finish what you started, thank you. Dumi out and Gamini in. I managed to catch a glimpse of what happened. Looks like he took a swat after that stolen ball, and that's what the flagrant foul is all about. Yeah. There you have it, 4-point game. A couple of steals, couple of baskets, and keeping Cameroon from trading baskets. And we've got ourselves a basketball game again, ladies and gentlemen. Well, except for one X factor, the captain, Daryl Bayra, said, no, not that easy. Not that easy. I'm going to put that one up in row 6. However, Doucouré, who has really come on in the past couple of minutes, and he's been the instigator. That is a lovely basket, and we've got a 2-point basketball game. We were almost lulled into sleep by the rhythmic beating of the Mali drum. And in doing so, I think Cameroon and their defense were also hypnotized. And all of a sudden, the Eagles have found their wings again.
Maya évolue au fond. Maintenant, en attaque là, il faut la presse. Quand on le ballon, tu vois, on arrive seulement juste tête. Ici. Maya ici. C'est bon, les deux sont au fond. Tu prends les gars, côté cuisse, il va tirer la défense. C'est déjà pas joué. Et donc ici, et tu achètes les gars et on joue. Les gars, c'est maintenant. Allez, on a pas le tir. Tu mets la zone, on a pas le tir. On tombe, on va là derrière. Tu vois?
Buckle up, boys and girls. You may have thought that this was going to be a walk in the park for Cameroon, but in the meantime, Mali had very different plans for all of us. 64-62, 5:40 left to play in the game. This for third place. This for bragging rights between these two teams who fought it out in 2024. Mali coming out on the winning end of the gold medal match. Now this has become very personal for bronze. It will remain possession for the Lions. Okay. Foul committed on the play. And once again, this is turning into a habit, and not a good habit at that. Nolan Ngangmene is once again hit with an unsportsmanlike foul. This is a really, really costly mistake. The steal is bad enough, but then he's taking a poke at the guy stealing the ball for the second time. Now here's Koulibaly once again. Last time he missed both. This is the front end of that trip too, but they will get possession. Koulibaly's strife at the free throw line is continuing, but the good news for Mali is they're going to get another crack at least getting 2 points out of this possession. Could have been 4. They could have taken the lead off just a simple steal. As it turns out, they can still equalize. Foul away from the ball, which should be the good news. Some pushing and shoving going over there on the other sideline. The free throw shooter is Doucouré, and that should have been good news for Mali, as he's been a big contributor to the score sheet of late, but cannot make the front end of a two free throw trip to the foul line. Misses both. However, luck of the bounce, they end up with possession, and after all this is said and done, they still might be able to equalize or take the lead. Neither. Very unsuccessful, very disappointing offensive possession for Mali. Good news is there's still half a quarter left. They're only down by 2. Cameroon looking to try to find their form again. Mid-ranger is a spacer. Definitely not what the doctor ordered. Under 5 to play. Mali trying to do what they failed to do in 3-4 successive attempts on their last defensive possession. That's tie the game up. Or take the lead. He called bank, I heard him. Sambala Sissoko. And Mali take the lead. And I just had to double check on the official FIBA statistics. That was indeed the first lead of the game. I wasn't sure if they got the opening basket anymore or not. Senegal had led from the opening tip-off until now. And Mali with the thinnest of margins trying to extend that to 3. Shot off target. Lady Luck starting to smile a little bit on the Eagles. Koulibaly is floored. Ball drifts out to the wing, and then unforced error is going to cost Mali possession. Or not. Did I miss it? I did indeed. Koulibaly to inbound after we get the sweat mopped up. Long pass just before the shot clock times out. Probably had enough time to get a better shot off. That deep, long fadeaway really never had much of a chance. Baya almost lost the handle, almost traveled, and is fouled in the act of shooting. So on the brink of disaster, Daryl Baya gets an all expenses paid trip to the charity stripe. Captain's put in 6 points so far, his contribution to the effort. Now on 7. Front of the rim. Mali, all too happy at this juncture to trade baskets. Something which a few minutes ago would have spelled doom and gloom, and now is just fine with the Eagles. Sissoko stops, pops, in and out. Dumi. Don't know why he felt the necessity. I think he was looking to draw an and one, and I wondered what the necessity was of ducking into the defenders, but he pulls it off, does Felix Dumi. And Cameroon head to the bench on a timeout, up by 2. We'll let our boom microphone operator drop in his microphone and eavesdrop on Mali.
Orange, il faut qu'on marque ça. Le ballon est là. Ça va la donne ici à Sissoko. Il vient prendre le ballon main à main. Sissoko, tu coupes devant la défense. OK? Gros Keita qui est là. Viens jusqu'ici. Ça n'a pas de défenseur du Coran. N'a Dima. Tu lui dis qu'il y en a pas de gars. Ça va la carte. Il y a un rechargé. Fin de tir. Aïe, on a encore 2 points. Aïe, mais je ne privilégie pas le 3 points. Aïe, t'as 2 points de Coran. Il faut égaliser d'abord. Et tout de suite, on défend dur dans leur camp. C'est compris? Tout de suite, on défend. Allez. Allez.
3:07 to go, and thanks to that rally by Mali here in the fourth quarter, we're treated to a nail-biter. And certainly nothing against Cameroon, but for the neutral spectator, we were hoping to see an exciting and entertaining match, and that's been provided. So buckle up, because this one promises to be a good one down to the very end. Relinquished their short-held first-time lead in the game. Mali looking to get it back. Need to be more careful with the basketball if they want to do that. From the wing, shot is off. Cameroon. Demi wants to make a quick issue out of it. His first shot is blocked. Second shot from Cameroon is also blocked, and Mali moving quickly. Unforced error. Maybe it's the jitters. Maybe it's the close game jitters, and everybody afraid to lose the bronze. 2.5 minutes to go. Cameroon still up by 2. Ball over the timeline. Pressure in the forecourt from Mali. Baseline. Kick out to the top of the key. He called bank. He called bank because he is bank. He's been money all night. Ronnie Iwanka. Baseline drive is out of bounds. And these are the kind of errors that Mali can ill afford at this moment. Today has been a good contributor in the Mali comeback, but they can ill afford to see a baseline drive called for out of bounds. 152, Cameroon with a 5-point lead now. Spinning, dipping, diving, and getting floored is Menland. And Menland will have the opportunity to shoot 2 as he was fouled in the act of all that wrangling and dangling and whatever else. Foul is on Mohamedou Silla. Long was 4 of 5 from the free throw lines, now 4 of 6. He's been on 23 points for a minute now, and he'll stay there. Demi had the rebound but loses it. Silla very happy to take over possession. Mali needs to be more careful with the ball or just shoot it, preferably score with it. Bagayoko coming up empty. Good lay-in after a real physical drive to the basket by the captain. Dario Baya with a little bit of oomph. And the lead is out to 7. 1:11 remaining. Let's listen into the huddle.
Ni tire position main, Ghana compte Léon plan, on va avoir 2 points, 2 points. Et tout de suite, on est obligé de défendre ici dans le cas et de faire arrêter le chrono. Chrono, quand ça prend des fautes anti-sportives. On va les envoyer ici au lancer, c'est mieux. J'ai compris, tout de suite on défend dans le camp, oui, oui, attaque.
1 minute, 11 seconds remaining. 1-1-1. 7. Cameroonian contingent hoping and praying that their indomitable Lions can prevail, but the Eagles are looking to take flight. Bagiako with a three-pointer changes the complexion. In fact, he changed the complexion so much, we get a timeout once again. And our fellow with the boom microphone is back in the Cameroonian bench. Let's take part.
C'est bon. L'autre, Ronnie, quelque part ici. James, come on, do skin or Baya. Baya roll, you get open. You get the ball. When you get the ball, you get the ball, yeah. Ronnie, come on, do screen. Hein? Ronnie, come on, do screen. Joachim, tu seras ici. Si ça ne marche pas, c'est toi qui vas venir pour le ballon. Ronnie, come on, do screen. Derrière, play bien les skins. On va attaquer. Ils sont en collectif. On provoque la faute, c'est bon? Derrière, on va des défenses individuelles. Pas des shoots à champion.
Very good. Amen.
Cameroon to inbound. Errant pass picked up by Mali, and a very quick whistle and a foul. Exactly 1 minute remaining now in this 4-point game. Keita fouled by Basson. For Mali, Silla on 4 fouls. James Minland on 4 fouls. And a challenge has been requested by Mali's head coach. I don't know what the nature of the challenge is. The only thing I know is I have 2 game officials over at the TV monitor. Taking a long time to review the situation. Once again, I really don't know what the issue is or could be, but certainly of great importance with a minute to go in the game, within 4 to decide the bronze. But it looks as though the crew chief and his umpire have come to a conclusion. Let's see what the call is. So I believe what we're going to have is an upgrade to a flagrant, and that's what the challenge was all about. And indeed, a unsportsmanlike foul is assessed against Basson. Keita shoots 50%, but for Mali, just as important is the possession after. So it was a very successful challenge on the part of Coach Moussa Sisi. And unfortunately, it only yields a point for Mali out of all of that, where it could have been a 4-point play. Apply maximum pressure. Cameroon breaks that very, very easily. Yumi to the captain. The captain picking up a screen, but the change, the switch off the screen was actually sublime by Mali. Baya can't get it to fall. And it was Awanke who couldn't get a handle on the rebound. The ball dribbles out of bounds, but Cameroon will retain. Ball last touched by Mali. Substitution for the Eagles as Mohamed Sanogo checks in. Trying to put things out of reach and seal the deal, but Dunk springs off the rim. They'll now be able to add some insurance courtesy free throws. A lot of time elapsing since that unsuccessful run. Can't bear to look anymore. I understand the feeling. This 3-point match, there was so much more in the offing for Mali, but Cameroon also not particularly able to put things to rest. Ronnie Awanke misses the first of 2 free throws. Sometimes you got to miss one to make one, and Awanke manages to shoot 50% on that trip. Would have gone a long way to putting things to rest. As it turns out, Mali will retain possession. Keita to inbound. From the perimeter. Oh, they needed that one badly. Bagayoko. Second chance, no good. 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock, and the third successive 3-point attempt goes awry. They're 8 for 31, shooting 25% for free throws, and that was just not enough to bring them back into the contest. Well, they held the lead for a fleeting minute or so, not even that, but they did come back. They did capture the lead, but in the end, the Eagles' wings were clipped by the indomitable Lions, and Cameroon will take the bronze back home. The final count, 73-69, doesn't tell the entire story, but by and large, Cameroon was on the afternoon the better team. Hats off to Mali for bringing it back to a tie and then a lead and keeping us all enthralled. But in the end, and probably as a neutral observer, rightfully so, Cameroon managed to come out on the long end of this matchup between 2 great African basketballing nations. Congratulations to Cameroon, commiserations to Mali. It's been my pleasure and a privilege to have been along for the ride throughout. And I'm certainly honored to have been able to be a small part of AfroBasket 2026. Don't forget, later this evening rather, at 10 o'clock Central European Time, which would be 8 o'clock in Abidjan, and that's also the same as GMT, the final for the men's side of AfroBasket 2026 between Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire. And I can guarantee you one thing, and that is the fact that this Palais de Sport de Treichville will be rocking. The home crowd of Les Elephants will be up and at 'em, and it will be something to see. Don't miss it. It will be live and exclusive here on FIBA's YouTube channel. The ladies' final will tip off at 5 o'clock local time, 7 o'clock on the Central European time, and that will feature Mali trying to take the honors for the great country as they will square off against the Tigres of Nigeria. Another good match in the offing. So put your dinner on a plate, put it on your lap if you're in one of these time zones. If you're back in North America, why, it might even be just about lunchtime. But whatever the case may be, there is still a lot of great basketball on offer from AfroBasket 2026. But for now, I'm John Monin. I will sign off, and I'm glad to have been part of AfroBasket this year. And till the next time, I will say goodbye, au revoir, and see you later.